What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor. And yes, you're reading the title right. So I initially saw this as well on Wallstreetbets saying Nancy Pelosi drops about $1 million on CrowdStrike Holdings, ticker symbol CRWD. Of course, there are a lot of rules and regulations about active Congress or people within the government system owning stock. But her husband or her significant other purchased these shares again. Being an investor on his behalf, she has to disclose on exactly what the potential moves are. And yes, that is, it's very strange that if you don't know, people within Congress don't just own Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. They own individual companies, and they have the ability to do that. So that being said, I did a little bit more digging into this. I've never seen this website before whatsoever, but I was trying to look for some potential more investigating on actually showing some documentation that does this. Again, I'm familiar with a lot of the people, especially in Congress and in the government, owning and buying stocks. I've known that for years, but this seems pretty interesting. So I'll just read this little excerpt here. So basically, Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, has a publicly traded firm in different various things. In recent financial disclosure showing that a couple have invested up to $1 million in CrowdStrike Holdings. The Pelosi purchased the stock at $129.25 on September 3rd. The price has risen above 140. So we're going to be looking here at the chart in a second. But the thing I wanted to look for is the documentation of the transaction report here coming out here that was filing here. You see the member of status, you see the Pelosi here, the current seat of what she holds, and then you see these full disclosure of filing status, a new position, purchased, again, it says 5,000 shares. This is basically on the date that it happened and the amount. It was pretty weird amount. It's between $500,000 to $1 million. They don't feel to disclose on the time of purchase, so we can kind of go back and kind of see on when that was taken forth there. You can see that it was signed on basically a little over 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago as of from her. And then you see capital gains of $200 or more. Again, it's a newer position, so they haven't generated capital gains to sell that position going forth. I will link this article and, of course, the Wallstreetbets post down below for you to kind of read through, or more or less kind of be looking here on the chart here, looking at CrowdStrike. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the chart here. Let's just copy, make sure I get this ticker symbol right. Let's go ahead and go over here, pop that in over there, slide this bad boy over. I'm not going to be going into the political realm here. But basically it was purchased on the 3rd of September. So let's go back to the chart here. So it's the 3rd of September. If it's on the bottom, holy moly guacamole. They purchased it on that overall down day that we've seen here after earnings. They purchased some shares around 129. So it's going to be basically in around this range right here. Dipped a little bit lower. Now it's kind of trading higher. Now the stock being up nearly $147. So they're up a nice little cha-ching there. So let's just do this range here to there. So she can literally make Wallstreetbets here. She's up 15% in this position already. So that's a nice move within a month and a half-ish time frame, up being 15% in a very large amount. So let's just say that it was $1 million. $1 million, 15% of that would be up a little bit over $150,000 in that position already. So good kudos to them. Give them a little high five to Nancy's husband there. Great trade there, without a doubt. Looking to see this, looking here in the chart, this thing has been a absolute monster. I'm buying this opportunity. It seems like after earnings, the last couple of times has done very well, especially being like a cloud SaaS defense kind of company, especially for the elections and stuff like that, of being one of the main pros for the hacking stuff. Again, we're not going to be getting into the political side of things, but this being said, this particular stock has been holding that 21 EMA extremely well, and really seeing that 5 and 8 moving average continuously trying to grind higher here. So next overhead targets, which is going to be the previous high, is at $153 basically, to the upside there. And then if this whole trend can continue, because we're seeing the volumes on oscillator and RSI both starting to kind of still pick up, even with lower volume coming in the last week or so. If it can break above 152, that 161 to 174, 175 is basically the next potential targets to take some profits at. Even being up 15%, this is definitely still a very much has some potential to run. Downside support is going to be coming in around 137. That falls in exactly with the 21 EMA here, so it's going to be a very key level that we follow. So any support around 138 to around 134, 133.64 would be the initial support to the downside, so we can kind of highlight that little area kind of going forth here to be some initial support to the downside. Again, you've seen this in the past. It has cut through the 21 and 34 pretty aggressively, but it has rebounded from that. Even from this huge run up into earnings, it still came down to the 21 EMA and just continued to grind higher. With this chart, again, being within the new pandemic and the stay-at-home economy and all the other various components has really just been a true juggernaut. So we can kind of flip over to the weekly chart on this guy, and you can just kind of see that here. Even that 21 really kind of lines up with the 10 EMA on the weekly side, and this has just been a potential great buying opportunity here because, again, ever since the pandemic, guess what? It's been coming down to that weekly chart, hitting that 8 EMA every single time, and has not really been closing too aggressively below it. So what I mean by closing too aggressively below it, that means that the whole tick, and not just the wick of it, just not the stick of it, the whole body of the tick is below the 8 EMA and starting to have these moving averages starting to curl to the downside. You can kind of see we had a kind of little oopsies here into the July to August time frame, but the trend was just taking a break, and now it's just really continuing higher. As you see here, if this trend wants to continue, it would be normal and it would be okay for it to come back down to around 133 to potentially see this chart continue to climb higher to that 161 to that 154 range there. So great looking chart. Again, give a nice little chest bump to Nancy Pelosi's husband for making a wonderful and great trade for them. I wish them great luck on that. I just find it not funny on the sense of just how they're purchased 5,000 shares around this price target. So we can kind of just break out the old calculator. So let's go here. Come on, calculator. So they did 5,000. They said in the report times 129.25 or whatever generic number. So they didn't even purchase 1 million shares. That they purchased in around that price target would be around $646,000. And then we're going to times that by 0.15, which is around, they made $96,000 as of today on this trade. So nice little bump there. Again, that was the math behind it. So they're definitely going to be eating some steak tonight, if you know what I mean. That being said, hopefully you guys enjoy this content. Please, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll definitely catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.